Hi, I'm Morgan. I'm one of the educators in the NICU. I'm going to give you a little crash course in our isolettes. So first of all, there's a switch on the back that needs to be turned on. We usually will leave this one on, but just in case, make sure that's on if you're troubleshooting. And then there's also a switch right here that gets turned on. This is where a temperature probe gets plugged into. There are two options. We always just go for the number 1 spot. It can stay plugged in and in the bed while you guys are doing your surgery, or you can get a new one. The bed's gonna take a minute to turn on, so I recommend just leaving it plugged in through the whole case on air mode. The first thing you're gonna wanna do, it's gonna do its rev up cycle, and you're gonna notice that the number is flashing. It's gonna ask if you wanna clear patient history. Just go ahead and say no. It tracks our weights and things for us. If you have 2 numbers down here with this fan button lit up, it means you're in air mode. If that's not already lit up for you, you'll just hit the button. The bottom number will flash, and you can hit up and down on these buttons here to change that. 33.0 is what it defaults to, and it's a pretty solid middle ground air mode to just leave it on. It's going to give you a readout of what the temperature of the isolette is actually doing. If you have a probe plugged in, it's also going to give you a readout of what the probe is reading. If the probe's not on a baby, it's just going to read low, and that's okay. As long as you're on air mode, it's not going to alarm because the baby is low. When you do go ahead and put a baby into the bed, we want the probe to read on the liver, so we get a core temperature. So you'll take your probe, feed it through the side. We have these little gold hearts that are just stickies. Just peel off the back like any sticker, if you can, especially with gloves on. I like to stick this to it and give it a little curl, just so in case it gets pulled on. And then we go ahead and just put it right over the liver. If you put it too high on the ribs, you're not going to get a super great readout. And then you should almost immediately see your baby's temp coming up. Once you have that plugged onto your baby, we go ahead and switch it from air mode into temperature control. So it's going to read the baby's temperature and adjust the air temperature based on that. So all you have to do is hit the baby button. This is gonna say the baby's cold. That's fine. We'll just silence it. And then you can change these numbers. We have it set a lot of times at 36.5 because that's the minimum we want them to be at. 36.5 to 37.5 is our goal. With you guys coming out of the OR, I think it's appropriate for you guys to have your temp set just a little bit higher so that it's taking them up to the middle ground. And then as long as nothing's flashing here, it's set. And then it'll tell you what your air temperature is reading, your bed's, what temperature your bed is putting out to keep your baby at the temperature that you've set. And that's it. As long as you have the baby plugged in and you've got a temp up here next to the baby, it means you're on baby mode. If you have an extra temp down here next to the fan, it means you're on air temp mode. And then that is all I've got for you. Thanks.